O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Sai Ram, everyone. Let's close our eyes. We pray for strength in this difficult time for our brothers and sisters impacted by the wildfires in LA. Let's keep them in our prayers. All right. So, welcome to the second episode of Sai Blossoms. For those new here, it is a collective sadhana YA offering for Swami's 100th birthday to help us align our physical and mental energies. In this blossoming journey, the first 4 months are focused on the body, the next 4 months on the mind, and the last 4 on intellect, focusing on our B, M, and I goals. We hope your BMI goals are off to a great start for the new year. And of course, it's not too late to start also. In the last episode, Eating Right, we went over why it's important to eat well, how to eat well, and different approaches to make a healthy diet possible. In this session on exercise, we'll focus on why exercise is important for us and how we can fit exercise into our lives. With that, I'll pass it to Saidutta.
Salam everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Sai Blossoms, and this is titled Small Steps, Big Changes. Embrace wellness with every move. Thank you, Durga, for that lovely introduction. Let's hear about the next step to eating right, which is staying fit, from someone who is far more knowledgeable, far more experienced to talk about this than me for sure. Let's welcome Dr. Nilem Patel. She is a practicing endocrinologist in Los Angeles. She is the medical director for Region 8 and a devotional director there as well. She is very much active in the medical services programs along with the SSE. She has been going to Puttaparthi from quite a small age, and she had the golden chance of performing and offering and musical offerings too in the divine presence. Sairam, Dr. Neelam, over to you.
Sairam, thank you very much. If I can have the next slide. So, why do I write a prescription for exercise? And it's interesting, when I came up with this title, is that one of my patients the other day had asked me for a prescription, and I said, you want a prescription for exercise? And she said, yes, because if I get a prescription for the exercise, then I can go to the gym and show it that I have diabetes and I have a prescription. So, they'll help me with my exercise. And so this concept of prescribing exercise is not a new concept. And we all know that Swami emphasized exercise as well, because the students exercised regularly, and we saw the sports day to show their challenging exercises that they did. So let's dive into the history of this prescription that we talk about. Next slide, please. And so it happened a little bit before my time, about 2000 BC in the Indus Valley. And there was a doctrine called the Tridosha doctrine, a sacred doctrine that discussed disease and health. In about 600 BC, there was a physician named Susruta, and I might have butchered his name, but that was his name. And he prescribed exercise to his patients. And it said that he was very specific on the prescription. It should be taken every day, and only half the extent of the capacity. So basically, don't overdo it. And I think that's one of the things that even 600 years ago, they would say, don't overdo it. About 250 BC, another physician agreed with the Shushrutta's prescription and encouraged it. And of course, this holds true even now because American Diabetes Association recommends exercise. But he believed that strenuous exercise actually cured diabetes. Next slide, please. So Hippocrates, which most of you have heard this name, about 400 BC, he was the father of scientific medicine. So he prescribed exercise, and he believed that inactivity or excessive exercise and excessive food consumption could lead to disease. And so just like Swami says, everything in moderation, even exercise. And so next slide. And let's hear what Swami says about this. And in a divine discourse in January 14th of 1989, Swami said that sports and games and physical exercise contribute directly to physical fitness and good health. But man is not merely the gross body alone. He has the subtle element in him, namely the mind. And it is only when man achieves purity of mind and develops unselfishness that he can acquire peace of mind and experience genuine happiness. So what Swami is saying is both exercise, fitness, and purity of the mental purity is essential for man. And then Swami also says in the next slide here about bicycling, which is very interesting because some people, they don't do any exercise, Swami is saying, and they lead a sedentary life. And this was in February of 1993 that he said this, his advice was, my advice to office goers, which is a majority of us, and students, is that it is good for them to commute by cycle at least 5 to 6 kilometers a day. And please wear a helmet if you do decide to do this. But this cycling exercise is very useful, not only for maintaining the health, but also for reducing the expenditure incurred on automobile. And Swami, the eternal go green person, is talking about another advantage is to avoidance of accidents. Moreover, it serves to reduce atmospheric pollution. So he talks about go green along with us greening ourselves and making us more healthy. Next slide, please. And so what are the some of the, and these are just 5 benefits that are there, but there's many benefits, but we'll talk about a few of them. So the health benefits: boost energy, promotes mental health, weight control, which I think is a struggle across the board for most people, and improves sleep. Next slide, please. What are the health benefits? And so, of course, me being an endocrinologist, I cannot go through the next few minutes and not talk about diabetes. So let me say what the American Diabetes Association World Health recommends. And they're recommending 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic physical exercise, or 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic physical exercise per week, and some strength training 2 or 3 times a week for adults living with diabetes. This can be used for everybody, not just adults living with diabetes. Everybody can use this for prevention of diabetes. And of course, exercise, how does it work? It makes the blood less resistant to insulin, which is what we need to lower our blood sugars. Next slide, please. So then we talk about the heart. And how does it benefit the heart? So we talked about diabetes. How does it benefit the heart? Same thing. American Heart Association is saying very similar recommendations of the 150 minutes a week and the 75 minutes. And what does this do? It reduces our blood pressure. It reduces our cholesterol. And it increases our good cholesterol. So many, many health benefits that and I know most of you are young, much younger than me. And so right now you think you're invincible, but you're not, because eventually over time it does add up. Trust me, I know. And so you want to start this early on and go for the long run. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Next slide, please. And so this had come out recently in NPR News, but it is an article that is from a journal, and it talks about bicycling and how bicycling can overall reduce your risk of arthritis. So for those who don't like to walk, don't like to run, get on a bike. And if you don't know how to ride a bike, stationary bikes, you never fall off. Next slide, please. What are the exercise benefits for mental well-being? And I think this is a big thing for all of us, is that it not only improves memory, which you may not have thought of, but it also, we know that it reduces our risk of anxiety and depression. It makes us feel better. There's a lot of chemical changes that happen in our body when we exercise. It increases serotonin and dopamine, which improves our moods. So definitely, if you're not thinking about your body, at least think about your mind and the benefits of exercise. Sairam, thank you.
Sairam. Thank you, Dr. Neelam, for all the important info you shared. That was very nice and interesting to hear about the history and the health benefits. This actually reminds me of what my parents would tell me. They would always try to motivate me to get me on the treadmill because I was pretty chubby growing up. Doctors would tell me to run and play outside more, and exercise was just the last thing I wanted to do. I eventually got obese in my senior year of college. Only after I graduated, I started focusing on my weight and incorporated exercise regularly. I've lost 20 pounds so far, and I still have some to lose. I'm still on my journey. And so, like me, I'm sure you all are in your journey or at least would like to start. So let's hear from you all. What are some of the ways that you like to stay fit? Go ahead and scan the QR code and we will see your answers pop up on screen. And it will be anonymous. Your name will not be on it. Okay, I'm seeing walk, I see dance, gardening. Oh, walking the stairs daily. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Looks like a very nice variety. So I know someone whose answer for sure would be running marathons, and he loves it enough to bring a whole bunch along with him. So let's hear it from Brother Lakshman. Over to you.
Hey, Saram everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, yeah, it was nice to see all the ways that you're all active. To Saram again, I'm happy to be here. For me, one of my ways is running marathons. A marathon is a 26.2 mile run. I mean, you can also walk. So it's a walk run for 26.2. For me, the foundation, it actually formed. I've been running these marathons for over 18 years now, a combination of half and full. And for me, it formed the foundation for, I think, several more adventures over the years. But more than the miles, it was also the mindset that I was able to establish, the habits that I built along the way that really made a difference in my life. And I wanted to share a little bit of that. Completed over 30 half full marathons. Along the way, I was also able to help mentor over 100 first-time runners at work, friends, and even young adults, and talk about it in a little bit. And beyond running, a little bit of myself. I'm a husband, married for a lot of years, a parent with 2 boys, 6 and 11. And then I worked full-time as an engineering manager at Broadcom. Until a few years back, was also actively involved in the organization in both the regional and national YA team before I started pursuing MBA at Wharton. So currently, just balancing all these roles hasn't been easy, but I think the mindset that I developed through running, through just staying active, I think made it possible. And that's, I think, what I want to focus on. So this brings me actually to the quote that we see on the screen. This is something that resonates very deeply with me. Bend the body, mend the senses, and the mind. I'll talk about the T-shirt later in a bit. But to me, it is a way of life. It's like, challenging ourselves physically, going beyond fitness, into building discipline, into building that mental clarity, right? And that actually strengthens every part of our life. So let me maybe briefly walk you through the journey of a marathon. So this is the start line of a marathon. The left side is Chicago. This is the first race I ran with about 50,000 runners. The right side is the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, part of that marathon, over 25,000 runners. So many runners that it actually takes 1 hour for the last runner to finish the cross line. Right? A lot of energy. But importantly, all these souls have trained for over 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is. And they ran more than 300 miles, 200 miles during their training. Even, they have to change their pair of shoes during the running, during the training. So much energy, so much excitement, fear, there is uncertainty, there is curiosity, but most of it, they all started. They all choose to be at that start line. So no matter how big the crowd, again, that we see here, right? It's all about, every runner there has their own journey. So each step is like a decision that you need to take to keep going. And that's what I want to kind of begin with is just start wherever you are, just start. And going on with the journey of a marathon, we hit mile 10, it's like nice, smooth, easy. We go to mile 15, it kind of gets okay. And then finally we get to mile 20, which is famously called the wall. Next slide. This cartoon actually depicts it in a very funny way. We really start questioning the existence of our existence. Actually, why are we doing this? Why on earth should we do all this in the first place? Legs start to hold up, but the way one of the ways I relate to this situation is when Swami says in the spiritual path as well, as we keep progressing, the satsang or the group around you, it actually starts thinning out, and you are left to face the challenge alone. Like, this is actually very beautiful to me. So everything you wanted to ever know about yourself, run at 26.2, you'll learn about it. Anyway, moving on to the race, we drag our legs across the finish line. Yes, we finished it. Next slide. So guess what is our very first thought? It is, when can I sign up for the next one? Physically, I'm completely drained. My brain says no. My wallet says no. These races are a little expensive. My legs are like, damn no. But then my heart is sold and I sign up. It's funny, right? It's like, to me, it's that last 1 hour of Akhanda Bhajan where we are all physically exhausted, sleep deprived, but spiritually, we are totally alive, filled with that energy, with that joy. So why do I keep signing up for marathons is because of this, it's about something deeper, that feeling of lasting joy. Swami calls this Ananda, right? I kind of call it like as runner's high. And this is something you can experience in any activity that we do over time and again. A little digression, if you're wondering if all this really matters in a spiritual journey, when Swami says, okay, material world is not really true. Next slide. Swami definitely explains that the material and the spiritual are two pans in the balance. We must care for both our mind and the body. And only the healthy person can afford to forget the body and dedicate thoughts to God. So no excuse from Swami to not do any of this. Just putting it out there. But we'll move on back to the marathon journey. It's a joke, but it is true. Next slide. So the most difficult thing is actually, casually working it out in every conversation. And that is something I'm doing right now, right? But to me, it's more than bragging about what we did. It's about inspiring each other around us to actually take up something on their own. Experience the joy for themselves. So I do want to do a quick call out here in this call. If any of you have done something interesting, challenging, or that you keep doing where you find this joy, could be yoga, dance, anything, and you cannot stop talking about it, put it in the chat. I would love to hear what that is, and we'll celebrate that effort together. And if you haven't started, maybe today is the day. Take that first step and create your own story. Okay. So do take time and put it in the chat, but I'll move on in the interest of time. What did I really gain at the end of the marathon, right? That is something I want to focus on. It's a mindset that, anything is possible. This mindset is what gave me the confidence and the faith, I think, that I can balance all, I can do anything in life. I can balance all those roles I have in life. It could, and this mindset actually led me to do a lot more interesting things in life. I actually biked 25 miles across the Golden Gate, taking my 2-year-old. He did bike, a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and then even my 65-year-old mother-in-law. She also completed biking. And there was another day where I was able to dip in the Arctic Ocean. Just dip, cold water. There was another day when 2 years ago in Bangalore, there were two brothers who were running from Puttaparthi to Whitefield, super specialty hospital. They were running the equivalent of 4 marathons. I did join them over the night. So it was my first of its kind, not sleeping but running through the night. This was very interesting because, Indian roads empty, dogs chasing you in the night. Imagine the run. It's beautiful. It's a lifetime experience. They do run every year. In case you want to join, I'm just putting it out there. But in fact, it's just not that. Like the fact that I took up MBA at this point to study economics, accounting, statistics. To me, it was like, yeah, I can do it. Let's just do it. So that's the mindset that kind of comes with all of this, right? And to me, that mindset is something beyond ourselves. It's that higher self guiding us. It's that which is really powerful. You just have to experience it. So, and it is that mindset. Next slide. I feel it naturally leads to determination, right? And Swami confirms that. He says, if one has the determination, anything is possible. Even an ant with determination can travel any distance. So this determination, I believe personally, will help me, develop that faith that, I and God are one. Like this is why we are fundamentally here in this organization together, to realize this truth. And to realize something as big as this, I think to me, a marathon is one such journey, is one form of sadhana to me. For you, it doesn't have to be running. We all have our own unique paths, but do try it out. And that's the call out, right? So I want to kind of conclude this with my learnings. I have 3 key learnings coming out of my journey that I want to put in front of you. Next slide. Number 1, the first step is really deciding positively that you want to do something. Again, doing, not thinking about what can go wrong, but really focusing on what you can do. Right? Avoiding that negative reinforcement. Like, just be kind to yourself. Like, instead of saying, I can't do this, if you actually keep saying that I can't do this, it becomes the truth. Right? Instead, we can say, instead of I can't, I can say I'm working on it or I'll work on it. Right? So small things matter. Surround yourself with, again, satsang, like this people who can actually help you, uplift you. That's one. Make it measurable. I think that is something. Measurable means something like very specific. I'll walk 5,000 steps a day. I'll attend 3 yoga classes a week, or I'll run a 10K in July. I want to lose weight is not a goal. It is an after effect, at least to me. Right? So make it very specific and measure it. How do you measure it? It's there's a saying, what gets measured gets managed, right? Which means you need to use whatever it is. Like I actually got an Apple Watch finally to actually measure my progress. You can use Fitbit, you can use even a sticky note on a fridge. Also, there are some apps like Strava. We actually have a YA group on Strava where you can actually motivate each other, give kudos. So by all means, track it. Seeing the small wins really adds up, to those big results. And then one small thing I want to add is, I think we have the slide. Okay, is just start, right? So just start. And we kind of sometimes think, when should I walk? Morning, evening? Is it going to rain? Do I need an umbrella? Do I need new shoes? Oh, I'm not walking right. Forget all that. Just start. Today, just start. I think eventually things will line up. Should I go to a gym? Should I go to this gym, that gym? All these, we overthink sometimes. So start small, start where you are, right? It's not about running a marathon tomorrow. It's starting today. Every action counts. It doesn't matter how you move, just that you move, right? So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is design your life around it. This is something that really worked for me. I personally made a promise to myself that as long as I live in the Bay Area, I'll run the SF half or full marathon every year, and I make sure I stick to it. Right? And the way I do it, I register for the next year even before this year's race is done. I kind of open the registration one day in advance. I just do it before knowing what would happen for the next year. Once I was injured, I couldn't train for it a month, but still I woke up that day, I finished the marathon. I did not run, I walked most of it, but the point is to finish it. Keep your commitment, make yourself accountable. This is something, and another thing that really works is tell everyone around you what you're up to. tell your resolution, they will all help. I tell my family, my friends, my work colleagues, everyone that, hey, this is what I plan to do. And someone actually reminded me, hey, July, I was actually planning a vacation in July, and someone was like, hey, do you have your race at that point, right? And I kind of missed that, right? That's so the satsang around us really helps. And then another example I heard from a coach. She's in her 50s and she knows the importance of strength training. And what she does is she keeps dumbbells in the bathroom sink. Anytime she enters the bathroom, she does like 10 dumbbells. That's it. For the day, she gets her 50, 60 count. So kind of designing the life around the habit that we already have. That is what makes sense. Personally, I was, trying to get to do yoga at some point, to go to a yoga studio, never worked. This year, I kind of signed up with my own family and we found an online yoga in India. Like, I think it's a very popular one. We started doing it. We said 26 days constant. I mean, that's our goal to start off. And it's been working well with the family. So kind of think about or ask yourself, what is that small change you can do today and that you can actually design your life around your goals. So start thinking about that. And finally, do it with friends. It's one thing that you have a goal for yourself, but sticking to it becomes so much easier when you're surrounded by people who inspire you. Next slide. I want to conclude by sharing this is I want to bring it back to where we started, this t-shirt, right? So 10 years ago in Region 7, we are a group of young adults, even a few adults and children. We came together to train for a half marathon. We called ourselves YA 26ers. Right, that's the team name. You can see the logo and the team name on the t-shirt. This all started with a YA sports day. We realized we couldn't run for more than 5 minutes. And things happened. So in the end, we formed like a group. It was still the YA group, but then it was more than a fitness. It was kind of became a community where we encouraged each other, made each other accountable. We trained, we motivated each other, even designed this t-shirt, made it fun at times. So over 2 years, we had a lot of people complete like 10K, 5K, 13, the half marathon, even a couple did a full marathon. I think next slide, just a few pictures to conclude is, this is one of the first races that we did. Right, we in fact had strollers. Some of them pushed our babies. Like the next slide is one more, few more pictures added. See, the girl here, she was 8-year-old when we started. She recently did her very first half marathon because she was eligible now to do a half marathon officially. So it was very nice to see that they were all continuing this practice. One of our brothers, he was celebrating his 50th birthday along with us in this race. It was again very inspiring to see others actually join us. You'll see like seniors, all kinds of people here. Next photo, in more photos here. Yeah. So basically, if you want to go fast, go alone. This is an African proverb, but it actually proved to be true. It will always remain to be true. If you want to go far, go together. So to me, I would invite all of you to start your own journey. Whether it's running a marathon, whether it's walking, any other challenge, do it together. Train with friends, support each other, take that energy into communities. I'm personally happy to support in whatever is needed. But I think if there is interest, we can also do something for the 100th year as a YA group. So start today, start now. All right, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for sharing this. I mean, you make it sound fun. And this is the first time I'm hearing about the marathon from Puttaparthi to Whitefield. Like when I was in Bangalore, we had done once, but that was like only from ITPL where we were working from to the super specialty hospital. But I didn't know it was from like Puttaparthi to Whitefield also. There was a thing going on every year. And like listening to you, it sounds so doable and something that I'm all geared up for now. The problem is, at least for me, sometimes it does not last long. I listen to you, it's I'm all geared up now. I try this a few days, and then sometimes, I mean, when I look out the window in the morning, if it's snowing, like half of that energy is drained out. I hope I'm not the only one feeling this way. I'm like, how about you all? Like, is there something that like brother said, it's all a mind game, right? So is there something where you feel is an obstacle for you to say, like, this is why I'm not able to start, be it kids or any other reason for which you have felt this is not something I'm able to do. So what is your obstacle? Believe me, honey, I'm not the only one feeling this way, I hope. Yes, yes. That's an honest answer, just being plain lazy. Thank you. Snow, yes. Thank you for sharing. I want to invite one of our own YAs also here. I know she's also a mom and she has gone through this. So, Sister Divya, will you please help us and share some tips on how you navigated through all this?
Absolutely. Sai Ram, everybody. Sai Ram, Sister Saidutta, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's great to meet everybody. It'd be great to have more folks on the camera, but otherwise, it's awesome that you all could make it. My name is Divya Ramalingam, and I am from the Beaverton Sathya Sai Center in Oregon. Just like you, Saidutta, hearing Brother Lakshman made me think, oh gosh, today I should have at least gone out for a good walk because I saw the weather. I said -1. Oh, do I need to? And then I remembered, oh gosh, we're going to have this talk, so I better get some steps in. So thank you for that motivating talk, Brother Lakshman. And of course, to everybody, thanks for sharing and being very transparent in all the, various obstacles you're facing in your journey. If I can offer you any immediate solace is just from the results you're seeing in the Mentimeter is you are not alone, right? Just like you and many others, I also, continue to face several setbacks, and I thought I could just share those with you all today, and hopefully they would resonate. Having said that, I do want to take a quick minute to share my preferred and favorite way of staying active, which is dancing. I love to dance. I enjoy listening to various songs and trying to incorporate beat in those. I am guilty of sometimes listening to bhajans and thinking, how would I choreograph this? And if I were to present this to Swami, how would I do that? So, I'm very, very passionate about dancing and try to ingrain this wherever possible. I am trained in Bharatnatyam, which is an Indian form of classical dancing. My parents enrolled me in Bharatnatyam classes from the age of 4. And every time we moved cities and countries or continents, they made sure to find a teacher who can, instill that passion in me. So as a result of that, I've been able to also just be able to perform and go, continue learning wherever I moved. During COVID, when COVID started in 2020, I started teaching young children and, watching them understand rhythm and beats and, watching them figure out their, hand and leg and eye and neck coordination and, sending me videos and saying, Divya auntie, how do we do this? And just watching them dedicate time for their dancing is so motivating, definitely a driving force for me. While I will share about, what I do in my world of dancing and how I, try to recover from those challenges, keeping dance in context, I would urge you all to kind of look at these challenges, keeping your exercise, mode in mind. So whether that's running or cycling or yoga, it could be something new you want to try out or something you're struggling to get back to, but just keep that in mind as you I speak through the challenges. Next slide, please, Saidutta. The first one that I have on my list here, which I face and I continue to face, is about a year and a half ago. I felt a sharp pain in my knee while I was exercising, and I learned that due to overuse, I have a variation of runner's knee. It definitely set me back in the goals I had in mind, for 2024 and, what I wish to achieve by the end of the year. So I've been going through PT on and off, and, I've taken to other forms of, low impact exercises such as swimming, yoga, extra walking. And, I've also been quite extra conscious of my form and my posture when I do my weight training. And all of this has definitely been a learning. Firstly, it made me appreciate other forms of workouts that I didn't know, and I didn't think they have to be extremely, intensive. We don't have to sweat it out intensely for it to be considered a workout, right? That it is possible to be active and keep moving, even with, an injury in place. taking it easy and, acknowledging that my body is going through recovery, whether it is something that I'm starting new or, something I'm coming back to. Same for you, whether you are starting something new or coming back to your original exercise. It's important to kind of ease back in, take small steps to make sure we have those big, sustainable changes for overall well-being. Secondly, how they say, you don't know how much you want something until it's truly gone, right? So it's not gone in this case, but this setback kind of made me realize how much I wanted to get back to dancing, right? How much this passion means to me when I couldn't do it anymore, right? And I was struggling to kind of do it some more. And that I'm just had to realize I'm on this longer detour to my goal. And that I have to sort of embrace that detour I'm on, because that detour is, giving me a very different appreciation and very different and scenic view. The other challenge and setback is, navigating parenthood. I'm a mom of 2 young kids. My son is 6 years old and my daughter is 2 years old. So for the past 7 years, it has been quite difficult, to say the least, to focus on dancing and, staying fit through dancing, right? Caring for little ones is exhausting. Meeting their physical needs, meeting their emotional needs is quite demanding, right? And it leaves you very little room for energy for yourself or for any craft, right? To be creative. I would have my music on and I'm listening to it, but my brain had nothing for me to kind of feel creative, and it was just off-putting, and something truly struggled to get through it when I was so sleep deprived and really low in energy. So some of the things that helped me at that time, right, is to just understand that what I'm feeling right now and what I'm going through right now is very temporary. My children are only going to be this young and this tiny and this needy for a very, very brief period of time, and that time will kind of go away when they won't need, their amma so much. So, let me just enjoy this neediness as much as I can. And also kind of hone in my support system, right? So my husband and my extended family, very supportive. They take my kids for classes or keep them engaged when I have my dance classes or if I need to practice. And this emotional and practical support is truly valuable. Just reminding them and communicating to them that this means a lot, and I'm struggling to prioritize this will just go a long way in having time for that. And also, one thing I didn't realize is that my kids loved to see me teach and see me in action with my students. So while I'm in class, right, they join in when they can and they start to dance. And when we're done, they just have the most encouraging words to express to me, right? Amma, you did this, Amma, you did that. And its own way, it's been so motivating. So, if possible, and you have kids and you're struggling, kind of just figure out how you can tag your children along in that fitness journey. And, like Brother Lakshman shared, how they made it a family effort. This too can just become a family effort in some way. The next part is time, commitment, and strength. And I saw that was one of the most mentioned answer in the Mentimeter. We all struggle with this, right? Personally, between work, home, kids, their schedule, center, and all the other things we have going on, it can get quite overwhelming to prioritize your well-being and staying physically active. When I saw those numbers Dr. Nilem presented and how hours I'd have to put to stay that physically active, I was like, oh wow, this sounds quite a bit, but it's possible. And it's important to kind of just plan as much as you can. But, no matter how much you plan, sometimes life does get in the way. So what's worked for me is to kind of just create some time blocks, right? I tell myself that, I will devote 2 hours per week for my dancing in addition to, other forms of just trying to stay active. But I don't keep it fixed or rigid, right? And I try to remind myself to kind of focus on quality over quantity. Some days, I'll have an hour available so I can do, workout and I can add a few more things. But some days just getting that 15 minutes is a struggle, and that's okay. I constantly remind myself after having gone through my journey is that I need to be flexible, I need to be patient, and I have to be so kind to myself if I want to be on this path. And lastly, I don't know why I put this last, because ideally I think this should be number one, is the negative self-talk and the self-doubt, right? At least all the other factors that I've noted there are quite physical and they're external, right? Like they're outwards. But this negative talk, self-talk, and this doubt is internal and just kind of messes up your mind. Personally, there are so many things that used to pop up in my head before I could, get up and dance. After having my firstborn, I struggled with body image and would have feelings of, I don't have the right body type to kind of go back up and dance. I'm not in this, ideal dancer shape, or I don't look fit, and I'm not in my usual flexible space, and, I don't have it in me anymore. And gosh, the endless rounds of comparing myself with others. Worst was with those on the internet who I don't even know, did no good, right? So after going through my own journey on that, a few things that I just thought I could share, right? I worked with a nutritionist, and we were having this conversation, and she was telling me, the way you shared all these things to me and you said all these things, would you say that to a friend who is in your space, or would you say that to a family member who, expresses to you? And I said, gosh, no, I wouldn't tell them that. And she just said, well, if you can't say it to others, you have no business saying it to yourself, right? And the way she put it so brutally kind of like stuck with me. We tend to treat ourselves harsher, and not give ourselves the kindness and the compassion that we deserve, or at least that we give others, right? So if you are like me and you kind of find yourself in this web, right, just pause and remind yourself how far you have come, and that how capable and competent you are. And also just learn that this body has given you so much and is continuing to do so every day. I had to learn to respect it and care for it and be grateful that this body does so much for me. I end every active session and workout with my hands on my heart and my stomach, and I express gratitude to this body for what it does daily, for me, for my loved ones, and for the community. It is all right and perhaps wonderful what others have figured out, while some of us, are still figuring out, because each of us are on our own very, very unique journey of being active and, embracing wellness. That's all I wanted to share with you all today. I hope the little steps that I took to overcome my challenges and setbacks were useful to you. Thank you for the opportunity. Loving Sairam to everybody. Back to you, Sister Saidutta.
Sairams. Thank you so much, Divya, for sharing your vulnerability and mentioning how important it is to practice gratitude. It's often easy to forget to be thankful for what our body can do. So you see, Sai, she turned those excuses you mentioned into reasons for the same. If you try to find excuses, there'll be hundreds. You just need to find one reason, good reason to do it. So we have another YA here who's a fitness enthusiast, and he not only faces his challenges, but he also excels in the game. He uses his passion in fitness and participates in powerlifting competitions. Sairam brother Sanket, over to you.
Sairam, everyone. Thank you, Durga, for that introduction. I have a lot to live up to for after you kind of hyped me up. Thank you so much. It was awesome hearing everyone else share their insights about health and wellness, and definitely there's a lot of stuff I could take into account as I keep going towards my fitness journey. So yes, a little bit about me. My name is Sanket. I have been in the Seattle and Austin centers, but currently I'm on a rotation in Amarillo, Texas. I am a physical therapy student on my last rotation. I'm getting my doctorate in physical therapy in April, and I'm really excited about that. Growing up, I used to be a fairly skinny kid, and then I gained a lot of weight in the senior year of my high school. And I was like, okay, there was a point where I needed to make a change. So I set foot in the gym. and I've been loving it ever since. It's been 8 years, and I don't plan on stopping. So I wanted to share a little bit about motivation versus discipline, right? It's the start of the year. I'm sure everyone has their New Year's resolutions. They want to lose weight or they want to make strides in fitness. But in the second week or so, not everybody, most people kind of give up, and they're like, I don't know. I think this is impossible. I don't think I can achieve these goals. Mostly, it's maybe their goals are unrealistic, or they might just be relying on motivation and not discipline. See, motivation is something that comes and goes, right? There's going to be days where you have a very, very busy and hectic day. You might be a parent, you might be a student. And as Sister Divya said, sometimes you might be very difficult just to get a few minutes of exercise in, right? But that's okay. A disciplined person, however, no matter how busy it gets, they still find a way to make do with their scenario and keep going, right? They just carve out time in their day, no matter how busy it might get, and then they still get a quick workout in, no matter how long or how short it is, right? So my word of wisdom for you guys is stick to discipline, right? Sometimes motivation will keep come and go, but the more disciplined you are and the more consistent you are with your workouts and goals, the faster and better results you will see. All right. So can you go to the next slide, please? All right. So here are two pictures of me. Okay. The picture on the left is me before I started lifting. And the picture on the right is me in my third powerlifting competition, I think squatting 419 pounds, okay? For me, right, when I first started lifting, I was only looking at the number on the scale and trying to make changes there, right? Crazy enough, well, actually, I want you guys to think, am I heavier in the picture on the left or the picture on the right? You guys can type in on the comments below. Just your guesses. All right. So those of you who said I'm heavier on the picture on the left are actually incorrect. I'm heavier on the picture on the right. That is, me on the left is at 200 pounds without going to the gym, and me on the right is 215 pounds at my competition, right? So a lot of us, when we start our fitness goals, we're always thinking about that number on the scale, right? And I'm here to tell you that the number on the scale doesn't necessarily matter. Some 200. So this brings to my next slide, right? How are we going to measure on progress? Yes, we're thinking about losing 5 pounds, but there's going to be times where you'll be working out there's so many times when people are working out for 6 whole months and they're thinking, well, I started at 150 and I'm still at 150 pounds. But okay, yeah, you might still be at 150 pounds, but the numbers on your scale, the number on the scale may say, your waist size, your clothing size may say otherwise, right? You might have been at a size 34, but now you're at a size 32, right? A lot of us in our fitness journeys, we're only focusing on one thing, the number on the scale. Instead, we should be focusing on other factors like the distance you can run. Maybe in the beginning of whenever you started running, you ran 1 mile, but now you're able to run 2 miles with ease, right? Maybe you're able to complete that 1 mile in a faster time. Maybe if you started a yoga class, it could have been at a extremely hard difficulty, but now it's very easy, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm telling you that yes, it's okay. You might feel dejected by the number on the scale, but you might be making progress and you just might not know it. So I would suggest, if you guys are ever tracking your fitness goals, I will say, don't only just focus on one thing, focus on a multitude of different factors. All right. So let's go to the next slide. Just letting you know, as I said earlier, no matter how tough that things will get, you just got to do it, as the Nike slogan says, right? I promise you, no matter how you might feel very down or very unmotivated, but you just have to get up and keep going. If you fall behind, let's say life gets in the way and you're thinking, oh man, I'm so behind on everything. If life gets in the way and you might be busy with work, but that's okay. You just have to dust yourself up and then resume your activity. Whatever activity you're doing, make sure you enjoy it. And whenever you have time, there's no wrong time to work out, right? If you're very busy, just having 15 minutes of exercise can make a huge difference in your day. Promise you, it will work. Just try it. All right. Can we go to the next slide? All right. So since I am a physical therapy student, I do work with a lot of people who have multiple different conditions. A lot of us I know may have desk jobs, right? If we're sitting down typing on the computer for a long period of time, our neck might be you might be putting a lot of stress on your neck. So I do want to address that actually. But before I start, you can click the hand icon on your name. Raise your hand if you have a desk job. Or if you could just say me in the chat. Okay. All right, sweet. A lot of you guys have desk jobs. All right, totally understand. I'm sure a lot of you might be having headaches after sitting down, headaches, discomfort, as well as pain in your back. I'm here to show you a couple of exercises just to relieve and reduce that pain. And here, everybody, I want you guys to get up and be a little bit active, okay? All right, so the first exercise, I would love to see you guys turn your cameras on, but if you aren't able to, that's okay. So you guys can take a picture of these exercises if you like. The first one is called the upper trap stretch. So that's working the muscle around your neck. So if you want to stretch your right side, I want you to bend to your left, take your left hand, and then push down onto your head, okay? Try to hold it. Let's do it for 20 seconds. All right, let's do the other side now. All right. So the next one, they're called chin tucks, okay? With this one, I'm sure you guys, your neck is protruded, meaning your head is like this, right? So this exercise is to help align that neck back to your shoulders, okay? So if your neck is like this, I want you to just imagine that you're making a double chin. And relax, okay? Let's try this 5 times. So the next one, right? I want you to put your hands behind your next to your shoulders. I want you to imagine that there's something behind your shoulder blades, and you're trying to squeeze it, right? I'm gonna turn around this way. So imagine you're trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Hold it for 3 seconds. Relax and try that. I want you guys to try that 5 times, okay? And the last one is called a cross body stretch. I listed 3 sets of 30 seconds, but just for the sake of time, I want you to take one hand, cross your arm, and then you'll feel a stretch in your chest, okay? All right, the other side. All right. So these 4 exercises, the total time it takes is probably 5 minutes. It will take, or 5 to 10 minutes. It might take 5 to 10. I would like, if you guys have any forward head posture issues, try to do them once in the morning when you wake up and once before you go to bed. And I will conclude by saying the more disciplined you are with your exercises, the more consistent and more you make time for yourself, the better and faster you will be achieving your goals. Saram, everyone, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Brother Sanket. This was much needed. I do have a desk job like many others here, but I do have a standing desk though now. I hope that makes a little difference, but I am able to like cover my standing hours on the Apple Watch at least. So thank you so much all our YAs for sharing your experiences. I mean, the way Brother Lakshman said, just start. Okay, don't overthink it. Just start. I think that is something I'll keep reminding myself. And how Sister Divya also mentioned, like these obstacles that we keep talking as obstacles, they'll remain obstacles till we see them like that. If we start seeing them like a detour, it will be different. And thank you for sharing this, Brother Sanket. With this, I would like to ask all of our participants if you have any questions. Before I go ahead with my question to Dr. Nilem, if there's any other questions coming from you, please post them in the chat, and we can share it with all our speakers. I'll give few minutes, probably 5 minutes. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. If not, we'll continue to Dr. Nilem. Saram, Durga, do you see any questions in the chat? Like, should we? Because I'm not opening that. Let me know if there are any other questions that we can ask.
So far, not seeing any questions.
Okay, I'll go ahead with my question to Dr. Nilem. How about that? Like, if you have any questions, meanwhile, please post them in the chat. We'll pick them after that. Saram, Dr. Nilem, we're coming back to you again. So all these things that we were talking about, like the obstacles or even the mindset or all these excuses, I'm sure you've heard it from your patients. What is it that you tell them, or what is it that you have seen that works for them? Please share your view on that.
Yeah, I've made a list because, what happens is I think I've heard it all. I've heard every single possible excuse you can think of. And I'm sure most physicians have, in order to get out of something that you should really do, which is exercise. So the one thing that I always get told is that no time. I don't have time to exercise. And I think most of us say that. Well, we can find time because oftentimes we waste a lot of time throughout the day doing things that we may not need to do. And so if we can kind of change our schedule and make sure that we get some time and use some time to do the exercise. And one of the things you can do is after each meal, and I said the number of minutes you have to do throughout the week to exercise. So after each meal, if you can exercise for 10 minutes after each meal, that's 30 minutes a day. And now you've done your 30 minutes a day, which we said. So, and we tend to eat 3 meals a day, most of us, and we don't usually forget to eat, but we do forget to exercise. So if you can just make it a habit that after that, you can do that. The other thing is that we get lazy and we don't want to do it. And I think that was one of the things on the Mentimeter thing, and myself included. And so find things that you like to do. So if you, and I think it was mentioned by the other speakers, if you like to dance, if you like to run marathons, which are a little bit more than, usually can't be lazy if you're running a marathon, but find something you like to do. So my patients like to do Zumba. And so they'll put Zumba on YouTube or put a thing on, and you can go at it, and no one's watching you, and just have a ball, and they enjoy it. And the next thing you know, 30 minutes are up, so you've done your 30 minutes a day. So find something. If you watch TV, which I know Swami says not to, so none of us do it, but if we do watch TV, put your treadmill or put something, or just walk in place in front of the television. So that one show that's half an hour you're spending doing some kind of exercise or some kind of movement. And then the other thing is that if you like to go out, like I have a patient who loves Disneyland, and I don't know how she can go to Disneyland so many times, but she loves it so much she has a year pass. And so she goes to Disneyland, and she actually walks all of Disneyland. And so if you walk all of Disneyland, I'm telling you, you can run a marathon because it's humongous. Motivation, I think we spoke about that. Have a buddy. So if you're married, take your spouse with you. If you have children, take the children with you. Running after children is great exercise because they run much faster than we do. And dog is a man's best friend. So if you have a dog or don't have a dog, you can get a dog. And dogs love to be walked and outside, so walk your dog, and that's good exercise. And then the regular things, when oftentimes we go to the store and we want to park right next to, like, the closest we can to the store. Why? Why do we do that? Why not park the furthest? So park the furthest, and you'll get great exercise because you have to walk into the store, and then you have to push the cart right back. So that's great exercise. And then if you go to Costco, go through each and every row. Don't put anything in your cart, but go through each and every row. And so that's going to be some kind of, in supermarkets and things like that. And these are just simple things. It's getting steps in. It's getting yourself moving. And people complain about knee pain, back pain. I injured my back. I injured my knee. Well, there's an excuse. There's a solution for that too. Swimming pool. If you can get into a swimming pool, access to a swimming pool, probably not in the winter in most places, but if you can go into a pool, or even if you don't know how to swim, walk in a pool. That's great exercise. Or go to a PT, as Sanket says. And yeah, that's good plug right there. But anyways, anything. And I do send my patients to PT to learn exercises so that they can do it at home. So, what you can do is the motivation factor. So walk and say, I'm going to walk 1 block today, and that's the most I can do. Tomorrow, I'm going to walk 2 blocks. And the next day, I'm going to walk 3. And the next thing you know it, now you're going to be running a marathon, right? So take steps and take towards those steps. And of course, we get the 100 steps, and you can do the 1,000,000 steps, right? So the 1,000,000 step initiative that we're doing, and with contemplating on Swami is a good way to start your exercise. And then in the house, you said snow. Someone said snow. We in LA don't have that problem, obviously. We have other problems, but snow is not an issue here. But if you have snow as a problem, you can do exercises in the house. I said Zumba, but I do tell patients YouTube has so many exercises, so many things you can do. One of my patients said they don't have space. So, I mean, like I said, I've heard it all. They don't have space in the house. I'm like, you have space to move left and right this much. You can do some exercise. There's plenty of YouTube exercises for chairs and getting up. And so those you can't use those as excuses. And then the other thing people can do is household chores. If you vacuum's like a full body experience here, because you're moving this thing with your arms, you're walking back and forth, mop the floors, all these things. It's movement. I know it sounds like, oh, that's very little, but the more you do it, the more cleaning, the more, it's like wax on, wax off. It's all these movements. They're all very beneficial. And then you said you have a desk job. A majority of people raised their hands for desk job. So what I did was I got a bicycle. So you can get a bike. If you're sitting, you can get those little bikes. And so I'll be typing my notes, and I'll be like a little rabbit going like this. And, it looks funny, but who cares? And you get and then after that, I got tired of the bicycle. So then I got a walking pad. And so I have a stand-up desk, and then you can just do the walking pad. And as long as you know how to balance yourself, it's very easy. And so there is a solution. You just have to look for it. And so those are some of my recommendations. Sairam.
Thank you, Sairam. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure many of us will find it very useful. And like you said, it's doable. It's just make up our mind, and the rest will follow, right? Sairam, let's look through the chats. Is there any other questions that you guys want to ask? Feel free to share your video if you want to. and you can ask a question directly. We'll just give a few more minutes. Yes, there's some awesome suggestions. To tell a little bit about these things, about what you're saying, right? Excuses and how you can start small, these things. It does not, like, a marathon does not start from a marathon. Like she said, it starts from a 10 minutes break during your office lunch for a 10 minutes walk, taking stairs instead of elevators. It starts with small little steps and then it keeps getting added on. Personally, for me, my fitness journey started only after my pregnancy. It was like 1 year into the pregnancy. And if people have, if you guys have been to Orange Theory, you would know I go to Orange Theory Fitness. And there, apart from the monthly fee, they also have a $12 penalty if you reach late to the class or if you cancel in the last hour. So sometimes I forget about the monthly payment, but just to save that $12, sometimes I feel like, okay, I'll just show up to the class, because sometimes the class are like 60 minutes, 90 minutes. But there are times where I have to drag myself out of the bed and just show up. And these are the times where just showing up matters. Sometimes I think, okay, maybe I'll just go there, I'll just do 10, 20 minutes and come back. But I'll tell you, the 60 minutes class is a lot easier than that 15 minutes drive from home to gym. So I think that is what, if we just make up our mind and, like I said, don't overthink, just show up, just start. And then you can just keep consistent. Sometimes we think that it'll only go forward from here. The journey is not always linear. There are setbacks. Sometimes we are back to square one. Like, I know I lost like 25 pounds before my sister's marriage. I wanted to do that, but then I went to India. I ate all kind of junk. I came back and it was all back. But I started again. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, if we don't see these as blockers, but just as a detour, we'll find our way back. We'll find our way to do this. We'll find our small steps, and then just keep at it, right? Thank you so much, all our YAs, all our speakers, for sharing this awesome ideas, experiences. We'll definitely try to put it into practice. With this, I go back to Sister Durga. You want to share a little bit about the BMI goals that we had set up last time?
Yes, sure. So thanks again, everyone, and for the YAs who have joined. So yes, it's important, to incorporate exercise. Try to make a promise to yourself, pick up something new or resume something old, but just do it, right? As Brother Sanket said. And for the BMI goals, thank you for everyone who have registered so far. We're still waiting for more people to join. If you haven't set up your BMI goals yet, you can still do so at the link in the chat. If it's not in the chat yet, it will be added. And you can also buddy up if you'd like. That's optional. But let's be accountable to ourselves and to our buddies. But the important thing is to do it with sincerity as a humble offering to our beloved Swami. With this, we wish you all the very best in your fitness journey ahead. And now that you know it's this long, consistent journey, let's make the most of it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, all of you are here on a Monday night, so that definitely shows that you are interested in this. You want to do this. It's just have to move past the other obstacles. Thank you so much for being here. With this, we would like to do the closing prayers, and we thank each of you for joining us and staying with us this long. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.